Here we go. What's up, Tom?
What's going on?
I would hey for the world, gentlemen. I wasn't late.
Living the beard, man.
A little bit technically challenged, though. That's for sure.
It's all right.
Do it. You're not
Good. How are you?
I gotta say, I don't think we've had this much buzz around an episode in a while.
Because you guys are getting so good at it.
No, it's
It's because of you. No.
Yeah, a bunch of what I would call your fan base has been reposting this and pushing it out there, letting people know.
That's nice to say. I think we all pray through a huge group of people. There's not anybody that I rule out. I would look at anyone and call them my friend unless they personally done something to disprove that. So there's just this huge group of people that are just so freaking cool to me all the time. Everywhere I go, I love it. But I try to do the same. I think that's why that happens. Everybody kind of reciprocates that vibe. So
I see all those checks in the back.
yeah. Elevator pitch, people who potentially don't know you.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah. My name's Tom Troop. I'm from San Diego. I live up in Temecula. I'm grossly addicted to calico fishing.
I love it.
I
love it.
So my good friend of mine passed away last year. He was Captain Ron Ellis. He was a swordfish guy, and he explained it to me best. He was an old punk rocker, and he's Tom. I'm ruining these people, dude. I'm just ruining them. I'm like, what do you mean? He's coming out, and they catch a swordfish, and they're ruined for life, dude. They want to catch swordfish, and it gets in your head. That's like where I'm at with calico bass. Yeah. Everything else is a bycatch for reals. Anything else you see?
There's this thing where I'll go, man, I hope the Dorado come in close this year. I hope the tuna come in this year. But I'm not standing up thinking about it. I hope they do, and that'll be a fun little adventure. Yeah. But the majority of my time is like, all right, what are the calico going to be doing this weekend?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I got to say, Luke spoiled me with calico because I never fished calico before. And now that's pretty much all I want to do because I love spotties. You already know.
Yeah.
But calico fishing's a whole different.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Just so in that, basically, I'm just like a local fisherman, just like you guys that fish anywhere from like Marina del Rey down to Rosarito area. I'm just a little south of Rosarito. And I love that inshore coastal vibe. It's like going hunting.
Yeah.
I just
100%.
I love to leave what I know. There's a little saying called consafos. And if you've ever heard that, it's a Spanish saying. A lot of the graffiti guys know it for different reasons. It's like you see that little C/S in graffiti when I was a kid and stuff. But what consafos really means is it's an old saying. And if you look it up, it's to be free and unimpeded. So it was used in graffiti as it bounces off me and sticks to you type thing. Like whatever you say is not going to affect whatever I've put up right now, like consafos. But it also means it came from a saying when the ropes that you tie on the boats, like the mariners back in Spain, when they would untie, they were consafos without any restrictions. And you're free, dude. You pass those last buoys, there's no roads. You just decide. You're like, we're going north, we're going south. Let's take it out of gear, dude. Which way is the current going? Let's figure this out. So it's just a really fun, fluid vibe. But I started up as a kid. I was born into fishing, literally. There's not a picture of my family that wasn't at the beach when I was a kid. San Diego, Cardiff area. And so I grew up in the beach in the sand. They're like a bait and weight fishing type vibe because they're kicking back with 3 kids. It was not too easy to take care of 3 kids, dude. My dad, I'm actually a second generation San Diego native. My dad grew up in San Diego Bay, Mission Bay area, just scrubbing that place clean fishing as a kid before it was built up like it is now. So that's a pretty cool thing to be able to go back to a place like that and it'd be so intimate that I get to bring my son there and he gets to walk in my father's shoes and do the same thing. So it's awesome. But yeah, I just started fishing, doing that. And then when I hit junior high, we're talking, I'm old, guys. I'm like upper 40s. Okay. I grew up in that board sport skateboard era when DC blew up. All that was in my neighborhood. I lived in San Marcos, Vista, Carlsbad, all that stuff right there was just blowing up. So there's a lot of melted like street culture of graffiti with skateboarding and
right.
And just it blended all these things together And I was at the time really into punk rock and all that in the 90s and skateboarding. And I live in kind of an area where there was like some predominant gangs and stuff at our school. And we were all just a bunch of dork knucklehead kids. And we like started this pseudo gang because everybody was claiming something. And we almost, as a joke, we just threw it up and we're like, it started as a real joke. We were driving our beach cruisers back from fishing in San Marcos at a place called Jack's Lake. It's still there probably, but it was much different when I was younger. And me, my buddy Ronnie, my buddy Cameron, my buddy Matt, we were just like, we were the fish dogs. That was the beginning of it. You know, we were busting a red light on the bikes across the street with fishing rods and all that. And just out of nowhere, I just yelled it out. I'm all, fish dogs. And we didn't know it didn't where it came from. We called everybody dog at the time. It was like the Snoop Dogg era. The fish dogs, that's where it was born. It actually had a negative connotation, like I said in the beginning. A bunch of dumb kids getting into stuff and clean fish dogs. And it got like out of hand. Oh my God, this is like stupid. So that went dormant for a while. And I stayed steady into fishing, but I was a largemouth bass fisherman at the time, just like total like ninja fishing. We do in the harbors and the docks and all that, but just in the urban setting of San Diego and rural too, because we got all these awesome, at the time, there were like cattle ponds and like orange groves and stuff like that. Avocado groves, just go out there and find water and they're just loaded with good fish.
And those were holding bass too, huh?
Yeah, those were good, real good. Because actually you have to have fish in water over a certain acreage because it can't be stagnant. So technically they have to stock it with something. And
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yes. Get out there and find it. And you never know what you stumble across. But in the largemouth bass was where I really got technical. And I learned how to do all these different rigs. My buddy Cameron, we called him Cappy because he was like the captain. His dad was actually a ranger at Wolford for a while. So he knew how to rig plastics and all this stuff. And I was a huge fan of the Walmart multi curly tail pack of brands, but I got all into it. We got all technical. We picked what we liked and had a lot of the little robo worms and stuff like that.
You know, still fishing the curly.
Right. Oh, they still get in. So through all that, I had a lot of fun and just got into fishing, like the mechanics of it and the technicality of tying all these different little rigs. That kind of faded out as responsibilities of being a dad came in. I set things back, but the step off to that, guys, was like in Carlsbad, just around to early 2000s, Lake Calaveras. It's this lake that's in the middle of three Oceanside, Carlsbad, and Vista. So it never really got developed. It's kind of everybody fought over it, and you couldn't fish it. It was tule locked, and I had that place just piled on a float tube, and that was the only vessel I ever really rolled was float tubes and just like little John boats, dinghy boats, and that place got so stupid good that I would just drag my buddies out there on anything that floated and I'd get multiple over 5 pounds. So this is when a video camera was a video camera. Right? I had this awesome one, which was like the size of, I can't even tell you, it was like this big. So I'd shove it down my waders, go out fish, catch one, and then film. And this is all pre-YouTube. I have all the videos, but
That's sick, dude.
5, 7, 8, like all in one day. Just this place is on fire. And that is the only place.
You should go through some of those.
Yeah, I got them, and I'll scab a little picture from them here and there. My biggest freshwater bass was a 8.4. I've never got bigger than that. And I'm not going to lie, dude, we used to fish shiners. I fished everything. I did spinner baits, all that. I was really technical. But if I wanted to catch something huge at this lake, you take a dead shiner every time and throw it out. And it was a certain wind condition and the way it went across the point. If that was happening, you're getting lunkers. So that was all what I was doing. We did a lot of stuff like that. That faded out. And then when I had my son, I just set aside kind of everything. I'm like really into everything. And at that time, I just dove into being a dad. I was like, dude, this is awesome, which still to this day, the best thing I've ever done in my life is become a father. Cash's mom blessed us with the best kid in the world. He's a great kid. And so I just try to kindle his thirst for life. And I didn't want to ever shoehorn him into one thing because I always felt like I got pushed towards stuff. And I just wanted him to do whatever. So he was pretty free spirit and got into a lot of different things we moved through, but he got into riding bikes was the thing that stuck. And I'd go skating at the skate parks and he'd ride his bike and do that. And it got to a point where I was like, we need to mix it up. So I asked him like, hey, anything else you want to do? He's like, yeah, let's go fishing. I'm like, okay. And I had taught him fishing before. I'm not lying.
I feel like you're like,
that's good. This guy, our first fishing trip, I brought him out with, he's 5 years old with my buddy Cappy again with his 5-year-old kid. We go to a fishing golf course pond that my buddy worked at, and we roll up. I got mealworms, because everything eats a mealworm. So I'm like, you hold on. I got my Texas Ray glass and brass right here. You know, you don't touch this. I'm going to throw this out. You're going to get a mealworm. We roll up. I go, hold my rod while I set up your mealworm. Before I could get the mealworm on, dude, he goes, I got one. I turn around. He casting my rod out. He caught a largemouth bass in the first cast of his life. I swear to God.
That's why.
Yeah. Pretty stoked. And that started a long run of me telling him, hey, it doesn't always happen like this. And then I just kept saying that over and over. It's crazy. But then we tried back into fishing, like you said, and it was still shore pound. I'm a shore pounder. We got all up on the freshwater again. We're again jumping fences and hitting farm ponds and all that, because that's how I used to always do it. And my buddy's like, you got to go hit the bay, dude. I'm like, dude, the bay is lame, dude. I hate that. Like, just sitting there. He's like, no, fish with lures. I'm like, it's like, all right. So we brought our bass lures down and we watched the Rodney Marquez video. I don't know if you guys know who he is. He does the Bloody Decks, all that stuff. And
yeah,
it was before he was with Bloody Decks. We watched his, and it was how to rig a sandworm on a drop shot. And we're like, let's go. We got some sandworms on the drop shot on the sandworm and stuff. And this is at Shelter Island, which is in San Diego Bay. So it's riprap fishing right there, just casting out. And then we roll up to down the end of the place, and we run into this kid. His name was Woods, and he gave us our first hookup bait. And Cash started smoking them on the hookup bait right then. And
now, how long ago was this?
Probably.
by the way, hookup baits in the house.
Oh,
What's
yeah.
going on?
Oh yeah. So we got the first hookup bait. That was really where it just was like full speed fishing. It was like fly lining a sardine, dude. You know what I mean? Let it go. And we were nailing them on the drop over and over. And we got really deep into spotty fishing because San Diego's deep, and vertically, nothing fishes better than a hookup bait. Again, I'm biased, but dude, I'm telling you, this stuff gets bit, right? Especially deep. So then we're starting on those nighttime deep dock fishing, where Cash is just getting all these toads. We're just getting all these hookup baits and buying all the different colors now and searching them out to buy them. And we had heard about the Grom of the Month thing kicked up. And
there weren't as many colors back then either, right? It was like 6 or 7 different colors.
When we started up, it was like the mainstay of the green, which is sardine green. The mint had just hit. I think that was the hot one. But it was like mainly the sardine, the red, and the chobi and the white shad were the ones that we were buying back then. Now there's a lot more colors, brought some more stuff in. But that started the whole thing of just going bananas with lures again. Because this is awesome to have this much action with a kid. Dude, Cash was like 7. To take a 7-year-old fishing, you should see how I used to roll, dude. I had this thing I called it the Bay Buddy. Because if you've ever seen like a kayak fisherman or like a skiff, it's like a skiff crate, right? It's like a crate that you throw in your skiff where they had rod holders hooked in it and a tackle box in it and all this. And we'd roll it around on a dolly. And we'd be down on the Embarcadero in San Diego with like tourists like pinching Cash's cheeks and taking pictures of him because he's like this big red cheek kid catching fish, and all the like people from like Japan are like touching his fish when he's catching. So we had a lot of fun doing it. And my son's ahead, like he's really like outgoing and funny, and I'm like a goofball too. So we'd get into all these antics and ninja fishing, but that got him the opportunity to get some visibility because he was doing all the posts on hookup baits and posting.
Mm-hmm.
And Chad and JoJo were starting to see them. And now I know now that they used to always watch it. They still do. They love to look at stuff that everybody tags using the products because the hookup bait is really Chad and JoJo's kit. It's like they love to see it grow and what it does and the memories it makes with everybody. Cash won his Grom of the Month. We got his Grom of the Month trip. In the time of our life when we were doing our first tuna trip that October, he won the Grom of the Month when we did our hookup baits tournament, and he got 3rd place. So it was like a huge time in our life. This is about 5 years ago. And we go out. This is my first privately chartered boat that I've been on. We're just going for bass. I've gone out with a couple buddies as a kid, chasing pelagics and this and that, but solely just going to fish with lures for bass. And it blew us away. It was like we go down to the IB pipe. We all PB every calico sand bass. Everything was like 4 or 5 pounds. We were mind blown.
Who did you go out with?
Chad. Chad brought us out.
Okay.
So Chad Gerlich from Hookup Baits and JoJo Pemberton, they're from Hookup Baits. They are the owners. JoJo's kind of the finance side and Chad's the design. He built it all. He field tests along with a lot of everybody else and makes them. He basically made them. So they put this program together called Grom of the Month. They haven't done it in a few years because Grom of the Month was obviously a contact thing where you're bringing a kid on your boat. And when COVID came, that just wiped it out. So
Yeah.
they would select a kid at first, like at a random out of a hat. Hey, you're going to go on Grom of the Month, and you get an all expense, no gas money, a full awesome lunch that JoJo would make for everybody, little notes in the bag, like real personal stuff. And they'd give you a swag bag. Back in the day, Fishworks was on board right away. They were all down with the Groms, and they still are. So right on Fishworks. They got their little Grom program. They run up in San Clemente with the dock rats out there on day. So they jumped in and were cool fish Groms, like the guys that had all the hook holders. They donated stuff so the kids could hold fish up in pictures. And it was a cool vibe. And they started getting kids once a month. And Chad really was starting to realize that he wanted to not just go random and then pick them. Like, this kid's working hard. Like, he would see how hard some of these kids were working to get Grom of the Month. So like, hey, these kids should be rewarded. So he had picked a few, and Cash actually was one of those when he won the 3rd place in the tournament. His reaction still to this day. I was talking to Wayne Cotto from CCA about a month ago, and he goes, still, that's probably one of the most memorable things I remember from tournament fishing is this 7-year-old kid going, hey, when he got 3rd place on it. He's got his little swag bag because he got these like bags full of stuff. Got this in his hands, his water. He comes in, he's just like not trying to be cool, not puffing up, just freaking stoked. And everybody loved it. That kind of got us that opportunity to go with them. And then we were just like in. So all we could do, we would just promote these guys. We didn't ask to be on a pro staff, but none of that stuff. I didn't ask for free baits, nothing. Just, we like this stuff. We're going to stand behind it. So we did. And that kind of caught on. And we got to go out again. Cash got another Grom of the Month like a year later for some efforts with like charity work he was doing. Because that's the thing. Once we got in with Hookup Bait, they told us like, dude, you should try tournament fishing. Chap put the bug in our head. Cash is, that's awesome. So, okay, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to get you in tournament fishing if you want to do it. Yep. I would. Yeah, just post. And I got a call from my mom. And I think recently. But so I forgot, what was I saying? I was just freaking blabbing. But
So you guys got into tournament fishing?
yeah. So they mentioned the tournament fishing and club stuff. The club stuff I really want to touch on. If you're not in a fishing club, what I'm saying, not like a clique, I'm saying like the San Diego Anglers, maybe Oceanside as an angling club. You guys might have. I know there's one in Orange County because a buddy of mine belongs. I know there's the Balboa Angling Club. It is the raddest thing ever. Even if you don't want to go, I've gone to some of the Balboa Club tournaments just for fun because it's a rad vibe. And our San Diego stuff that we go meet one Wednesday. It's actually tomorrow night. I'm not going to be able to make it. And they have people come in and speak, and they throw little tournaments. But it puts you in an arena where there's a lot of like-minded people, And whether you go to everyone or not, I highly recommend anyone get involved in that type of stuff. Because where that's going to cross over, that's going to then introduce you to the presenters that come in, and they're talking about their fishing, and you just learn about all this stuff. They talk about charters that come in, you get deals. And our fishing club is also related to the San Diego Anglers Foundation, which is a nonprofit. So then this now has put us in a position where we can donate, participate in charity stuff, go out and deckhand on boats for kids and things like that when they have Grom of the Month or Twilight charters that are sponsored by our club, and Hookup Bait sponsors it. So we'll go tie up like 50 rods, take 50 kids or 50 vets, whatever the target of that charity is, and just take them for a fun day on the water. And that is so addictive, that type of stuff. So I just want to keep rolling in those circles with the club. And then that got the tournament thing going. And the tournament thing is, that's just the best. I got started with the angler stuff. Matt, who does the Ghoulie jigs now, he does his Ghoulie spotty derbies now. He used to have an angler clothing company, and there was a really big following, really grassroots. Everybody doing all these short pound, short pound. This is like more footwork than anything in these tournaments. And there's guys in kayaks and stuff as well in both. But we all know spotties. I don't care who you are, you're going to get the biggest spotty from shore. Prove me wrong, but I've never got a bigger spotty than on foot in the crest. So we were doing those. And we got a taste of all the great vibe and all that. Chad, if you guys ever had a boat, the saltwater bass series, it's just amazing. And then the open bay bass that San Diego Anglers puts on, just you blow your mind. So I'm like, all right, I guess that's what we're doing. And I pretty much committed to doing it without having a boat. And was like, I'm just going to figure it out. We're going to rent one or something. I used to rent skiffs. Rent a skiff. And like, started checking it all out, and I'm like, dude, this isn't going to happen. I was sweating, reaching out to local like charter guys and stuff. Do you just know anybody? And out of nowhere, I don't know who it was. Someone said about Sleigh Day, and I'm like, I don't even heard about Sleigh Day. So I look them up, and I'm like, no way, self-guided tour. This is self-guided.
So this one, Sleigh Day, was like brand new.
Just really new. They were only servicing LA, Orange County at the time. And Ryan, I hit up Ryan, who is the owner, or I don't know if he is the sole owner now, but he was at the time the head dude. And I asked him, you guys rent boats? Your site looks like you only do LA. And he's, yes, we do. He goes, what are you looking into? And I told him, father, son, trying to do a tournament. He's like, got you. Dude, he not only went outside his area, he rolled it down himself, got us going, launched it. You have to pass a little thing online. I was all nervous. It's so shit. I don't drive a boat that nice before. So I'm like, so shotgun start. First time driving a boat like that, which if you're not familiar with what a shotgun start is, it's a flipping drag race, dude. Tournament fishing is like drag racing, hunting, fighting, fishing, everything in one except sex. Okay. It is the only thing.
Just throwing it out there.
Don't think it's not.
Good. Yeah.
Right. Oh my gosh. I've seen a couple of shotgun races. I was down in Costa Rica when they had a shotgun start off for marlin fishing. Mind you this, my dad, my friend, and I are in like a pond, which is maybe 25 feet, pretty thin, pretty long. And these $100,000 boats, just these $1 million boats, like 40 just passing us. We're just going like this in the pond, and we're just like, what's going on right now?
I call that Saturday, bro. You're talking my language.
Dude, those shotgun start-offs are insane.
Yeah,
for sure.
I watched a lot of them too from behind. The SS Bay Basher, when it was broken for years, but it didn't work, and we only could go 7 miles an hour. We still didn't stop. So I'd watch everybody take off, and I saw how fast they went. But that is fun. So Ryan comes out and he brings us the Sleigh Day. And the funniest thing was like, I was so scared. Like I was listening to Cast and Crank podcasts, and guys like Ben Seacrest are on there talking like, I used to punch dudes in the face and tear my stuff. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to be that guy. What's the rules? And I'm looking at the rules like, dude, I don't want to be that guy doing the wrong stuff. Cause like surfing as a kid, skating, short, there's etiquette to everything in life. And if you step out, you'll get checked. I didn't want that to happen. It didn't. We had a great time, but I hit the treadmill. I was like working out. I'm like, it's going to be a long day on the boat, 9 hours. That's crazy. So pretty much blew myself out. Both my knees were blown out. I could barely walk the day on the tournament.
From working out.
It was so funny, because I don't work out. I was just a construction guy, right? And then, so we did the tournament, just blanked. We caught like over 100 spotties, but they were all sublegal, and we had the time of our life. And we're like, I'm never going to not do this ever. If this,
and that's a big boat to be maneuvering around the bay.
Oh yeah. I had a little plan, right? Like we have this little skiff plan. Like we would rent skiffs out of Coronado all the time, me and Cash. And we'd launch out of Glorieta Bay, which is mid-bay. If you head south, it's more shallows. If you head up the other way, it's the big open part of it. So we had a little route that we'd run, and we were familiar with spots, so to speak. So we were like, we're going to tap this spot and that spot. And we did. But I tapped the throttle, little whiskey throttle, back, half went down, and like, there's all that. But we were successful in the fact that we didn't crash it. We got it back to Ryan. And then this proceeded for 3 tournaments, dude. I rented it 3 times. I didn't know how I could afford it, bro, because I'm just like, trying to pay the bills like me. And still, I'll do whatever. That's how I still am. I'll just get a side job, do whatever work. And then we were able to participate in the whole series. And we took out the trash at all the tournaments. We didn't really get any big accolades or anything, but we learned so much. And you're just sitting in the presence of greatness. Like you really are, dude. I hate to say anything short of it. These guys are the best fishermen in the world for saltwater bass fishing, competitive wise. So we're seeing all these guys in front of us, like all the big names that you could think of, winning and being humbled. And we're seeing like, oh my gosh, like this guy just smoked. And we almost got as much as he did or something. It motivates you. Your success or your failure almost like drives you more. We stuck with it, and then we took out the trash at the championship. We just volunteered and went up there, and I had got the boat by then. For the last tournament, I got the boat. So we volunteered, helped, like I said, set up, do all that stuff, and then we went out and fished Isers, and we smoked it, and we're like, oh, man, we got to get this right next year, dude. We did pretty good. Our bag would have landed us good today, but that's tournament fishing. It's always good when you're not in the tournament.
So tell us about how you got the boat.
So at the Bay Basher is my boat to this day still. First powered boat I've ever owned. It's a 17-foot Tracker Deep V. It's aluminum. Bought it down in Natty City, which is National City. From a guy that had it rigged up for God knows what. It had carpet. It's got a high gunnel for an aluminum boat, which I like. It has a little recessed step down in the center with a lot of area for like cash. And we have 3 seats in that recessed area. He was pretty little at the time, and we didn't have a lot of boat smarts under our wings. So it was a good fit for us, except it had a bait tank in the front, one of those big cylindrical ones.
Yeah.
Right in front of the console. So as you get going, you're just like the boat's not wet enough. You're eating freaking live water. And then the carpet's going in my mouth. On the first time I took it out, dude, the carpet was breaking down and blowing in my. So the first thing I started doing was ripping the carpet out and messing with it. And we started fishing it around, and it was running pretty good for that first year. I was scared to death of going outside big time. Like I have no fear now because of Towboat USA and some life vests and whatnot, try to be safe. But back then I was a little more puckered up, and we did a lot of bay fishing and things like that. But my experience fishing with Chad on the hookup baits boat, watching what he's doing, looking at the meter, asking him questions. He really enjoyed the questions that Cash and I would ask him and see the improvement that we were making, that we were like a little buddy fishing team. We started fishing together a lot just for fun. And I had my boat. And when COVID hit, this is like when Cash and my tournaments fishing really blossomed because the tournaments cooled out. San Diego closed down and you couldn't fish down. I'm fishing no matter what, like whatever, I'm fishing. So we're Marina Del Rey, Long Beach. All the open ones up in here. We'd drive every time. We'd hit Marina. I love Marina Del Rey's fishery in the Santa Monica Bay.
There's no fish in Marina Del Rey.
No, I'm talking about the harbor. Go outside the harbor.
There's no fish outside of Marina Del Rey.
Confident enough to say that you got to put your time in to figure it all out, but there's plenty for everybody. It really reminds me of the diversity that we have in San Diego. Same thing, Long Beach. Dude, that place is just awesome. And everyone's different. Long Beach, big, crusty harbor with it. The dynamics that I've learned from fishing all these different places is just really cool. Everything's so different. The mindset of fishing in Long Beach is the opposite of San Diego.
I gotta say, there's something really cool about Long Beach. It's 2 or 3 in the morning. You're coming in, and it's just industry all around you, and you're the only person that's not there for work.
Yeah.
Everybody else is out there grinding it out.
And you're just seeing it from a point of view that no one recreationally sees it from.
Yeah.
A very small percentage of the population sees it.
It's funny you say that because I've been doing all these little nomad trips lately. I just slide off and like, I do on call. I'm a construction manager where I work, and I'm on call certain months. So I was going to go fishing early one weekend a while back, and I got a call really late I had to deal with, and I was like, oh man. And you know what? I want to deal with this call. I'm going to get on the road right now. Everything's packed. I'm going to fish. And I just went and I hit the harbor. And like you said, you're just like, that vibe is like nothing else, dude. You're just, and like at that time I felt that feeling like I didn't have my nav on. I just knew the place by now. And I just rolled up in my spot and just went to work, and it was great. But back on the tournament trail, we were
So how old was Cass when you guys first went tournament fishing?
7. I think he was
7.
went 9. 9. He was 9. 7 was the saltwater.
Damn.
9. We've done 5. 6. Yeah. He's probably about 9 when he started. 9 to 10 when that first year.
So 9 to 10 is when you're running the sleigh day stuff.
Yeah. 9 to 10. And then we got the Bay Bashers the second year. And that was our first year where we were like trying to contend. Our buddies, Danny Higley and his dad, were in the rookie league of the Saltwater Bass Series with us. So with Frank and Dale, and he had another partner with the hookup guys. So we were always just trying to beat our guys. And then between us, we all have competition fun wise because we get to razz each other. And so my fishing turned from realizing points wise by the end of the year, we were like, dude, we're like almost in the top 5. What the heck? But like we at that time, it was our second year and we weren't tanking. We weren't doing great, but we were just consistent and we just have fun doing it. So we go out and we fun fish it as hard as we can until the bell rings and bring it back, weigh it up, and you win, you lose, you learn all that. And then you start over at the next tournament. Sometimes I start over the next day and I drive to the next venue and start like great. But so that second year we realized we did okay. And we like congratulated ourselves. Man, we came into ours this year. So we're like, next year we're going to beat Danny because Danny got like 3rd or 2nd. They did really good. We're always setting a goal, trying to do better than we were. That's why I liked the tournament fishing because it's not about beating somebody else. I mean, it is about trying to come in and do your best. You want to win, but really it's about how much you learn. And when you do these things, you realize how much you learn at a really fast pace, a freaking really fast pace, because everybody is zip lip when they come up and show up. They got their rods hidden, or maybe they got some dumb stuff tied on that they're not even going to use just to,
Right.
and off. People goof around like that a little bit, but when the tournament's over, dude, loose lips sink ships, brother. They're like, we're out here doing this and it was on fire. We just need to put it together. And dude, if your ears are open, you're like, oh, horseshoe kill? What's that? I got to go check out the horseshoe kill. Oh, you were fishing skinny and Torrey Pines? I've never done that. Just all this stuff. And you start seeing all this opportunity. All the food that you're leaving on the table when you go fishing, you're driving right past the best fishing spot. And that 3rd year, we're starting to kick ass. Like we're having a fairly consistent showing, catching decent fish, top 5 in-ish, most our finishes, no wins, still didn't get any wins, but very, very consistent. And on that year, our 3rd year, we got Angler of the Year, which is huge, man. Brought tears to my eyes. I'm so proud of my son. And there's a lot of hard work, at least the way we do it. There's a lot of hard work that goes right fishing the hell out of these places and crossing out water that you would not normally fish it. You think it's dead, just fish it anyways. Maybe you find something, maybe you don't. Maybe it looks to everybody else that's a good spot and they're going to go there and fish. But
so once you win Angler of the Year, do you have to bump up a division?
No, they didn't really have anything set like that. And I felt like, hey, maybe we should. But at the same time, I didn't even have an optimal boat. I have a little aluminum boat that's running on 2 of the 3 cylinders and only goes 7 miles an hour. These other guys have boats that they can make it to Cat and back if they wanted, but that's out of bounds.
So you're running for a long period of time on the 7-mile-an-hour motor.
Yes. So logistically, we became just short freaking geniuses. We had to learn chart plotting at 7 miles an hour. Long Beach Harbor, dude, you guys know how long it takes from Alamitos to get to the light. So from Alamitos.
And we're going like 25.
Correct. Mm. So you try to go 7 miles an hour with tears in your beers after freaking you watched everybody go 40 miles an hour. So that actually bred what I like to call our style of fishing. We've always from shore fished slow, like a freshwater bass fisherman. Just grind the hell out of a spot before you move. But move and I don't stay in a spot forever. But what I say about that, I cast everywhere, fan cast, did cover all the water. And now with the advance of hookup baits and all the different rigs, we're using double rigs, single rigs. We even busting out A rigs, and there's all this different stuff you could do. And I realized my biggest advantage was that I fish hookup baits. I'm just going to tell you right now, it is my biggest advantage. And my favorite thing I like to do is introduce people to hookup baits because a lot of people don't have the conception of what the bait can do versus what we're doing. It's very productive if you just drop it when it falls down, it gets bit. That's why it is very popular with the non-technical angler. But when I got hookup baits, I had a little list, bro. I love this bait. I love this bait. I love this bait. The cranks, the swim jig, that was all my business. The Ned rig, all the, I was a freshwater bass guy, so it was all my business. So I'm saying, okay, can this catch in that condition? How's this a Ned rig? Oh, bang. And I'm out fishing the Ned rig. I'm testing it side by side. And the last one I held on to was the crankbait. I was like, yeah, hubs don't fish like crankbaits, dude. You can't do that linear retrieve, dude. I don't care who you are. Till I went trout fishing with Chad. And I just realized I was missing it. What it is, just lighten them up. And now you're swimming them across the grass on the top. You're doing that linear retrieve. And then also when you weight it up, when you use the bullet, you're doing that fast linear retrieve. So when I go fishing, tournament fishing, look, I came prepared, gentlemen. I have fun with that. If they were going fishing, we're gone.
That's more than I would take.
5 rods, they're always strapped together. I pick them up, I throw them in the boat. I got 2 bags, they got hookup baits. That's all it is. And people say, how would you be bored? Yeah, dude. Okay. So you like fishing surface iron? I like that style fishing too. I just use hookup baits. So I grabbed a 9-foot Terramar, essentially a big jig rod. Uh-oh. You got to tie up here, gentlemen. But I got a 9-foot Terramar here with a 8,000 Saragossa. And I'm throwing basically hookup bait like your 2-ouncer, things like that, and burning it on the surface like you would a surface iron, getting that kick swim. We're getting yellowtail, we're getting bass. But at the same time, without cutting that line, I throw that same jig out and drop it. And now I run it at 10 feet, 20 feet, 30 feet, 40 feet. And I'm just, and you can tell I'm getting excited talking about this stuff. I'm an animal.
Man, you get me stoked, man.
You just grind, dude. And I learned a lot of this by watching other people fish them. And I mean, there really is no way you do something wrong. It used to crack me up when we'd go fishing with one of my buddies and catch me. Oh, you can't throw a 1 ounce right here. And my buddy's so watch me. Dude, he's got a freaking huge body. So there really was no wrong way to do it. I just wanted to see how technical I could get with it, which, if you come fishing with me, dude, you'll trip out. You really will. The first time we met T, he brought us through a charitable thing because Cash had raised a bunch of money for the vet on the T-Rex guys to do a charter for 2 charters. We fundraised money off of selling old gear we had.
I remember that. Yeah.
So if you got the money, we did it a couple times, but the first time he did it, he got recognition at a spotty tournament we were at just out of nowhere. T showed up. I didn't even know T, had never even heard of him. He shows up and starts saying this little speech, and we're like, oh, this is really cool. And he goes, I'm here to present this to you. And he says, my son. I'm like, holy crap. He gave my son a full setup with an eye rod, with a coastal, and I think it was a left tranks though. The little 200 tranks. That's what it was. And so that's how we met T. And I was, oh, that's really nice, man. You don't have to do that. And he gave me a rod, dude. He's like, I want to give you something, man. And I'm like, dude, no. And he's like, you guys are what it's about, dude. This is what I'm about. He told us. That's when the whole Pastor Blessing thing came in my life. I love that, dude. I was like, awesome. It's not a saying, it's a lifestyle. And I see all 3 of us. I got a hub hat on because I got a misfit right here with my fish all. But you guys know that my head has fish all tattooed on my forehead. Really, I really love what that movement is. So T's not selling shirts and hats, dude. He's putting out a really good thing to the community. Everybody's picking up on it and it's infectious. And that's the type of vibe I like with hookup baits. They're putting out a good vibe. And I'll say this about anyone. I know a lot of times you'll ask, hey, talk about your sponsors and this and that. And honestly, dude, I don't have any sponsors. Hookup baits, technically, I like pretty much work for man, do on their fishing team. So sponsored. Everything else, I don't want to be, dude. I don't call AFCO and tell them, give me some free stuff. I go buy it. AFCO gear is really good and I get really wet. Fishworks stuff, I buy it. I'll tell you what, dude, that guy could make a t-shirt that would just look like a piece of turd. I'd buy it because I love what he does, the fishing he's doing. You know, when you meet the crew, like when you go out to their booth, it's their family, like straight up, all mom, sister. I love that stuff. And so I grew up in that. Dude, Vulcan was a garage brand when I was a kid. And it was people that stood behind it that made it what it was. So that's That's basically what someone just texted me something funny. Sorry, that took my attention. But long story short, we've just had a great time with this run in fishing. Great vibe he puts in is the reason. And the memory what I go out for every time. Just even in the tournament, that feeling and of accomplishment, that it paying off, that's fun. But fishing in general is fun. So that's why it gives you an excuse to say, oh, dude, tournament, go fish. You can go fish anyways, right? But
one of the things that I like to say is that we don't need an excuse to fish, but we'll take one.
yeah.
It helps.
All the way. It does help, huh?
And oh, definitely. I got one. If you ever need one, just text me. I'll send it.
So normally at the beginning of these things, we start talking about just how we've been fishing recently.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of let, get everyone in on the loop. We just dove into this thing. Let's talk about what you've been doing recently. I know you took our buddy Nick out.
You stuck a 3-pounder,
You're crazy. What's
3-pound spotty. He caught a 3-pound spotty.
What? Yeah. I've actually, there's a few people that I will always see around or just in the distance. I'm always looking at them. Man, I wish I could do that. See what and you see that. And then I acted on that. I forgot a boat. I took a dude out and he turned out to be a really awesome guy, friend later. And so that's the thing I'd like to do. I learned it from the Grom of the Month. And when that LA Fishing Alliance tourney came up, I want to do it so bad I couldn't go. I'm like, hey, dude, I got to just put something out there. So I put a free run in the Bay. And
Yeah, I was watching when you did that live.
that's cool.
Alive.
That's cool. And so I don't have much. My boats suck, but I'm a good fisherman and I can put you on fish. So I put that out there.
Your boat doesn't suck, Tom.
No.
It's a punk rock boat.
It's still 7 miles an hour.
I love your boat, dude. I love how your boat looks. It's just like, it's dope, man.
I'm very proud of it. It's a rat rod. It really is a rat rod.
Now, have you
How
fixed
does-
the cylinder issue yet?
Oh, I got a new motor. We got 90 horses on it now. And
What
we
kind of motor?
I have a 90 horse Mercury 4-stroke. So it's the biggest rated motor on it. That happened on accident. The guy that hung the motor thought he was putting a 70 on it because it was a used one from Canyon Lake. And then
that's
when
fun.
he did, he goes, "Dad, it's a 90." We're like, "Oh,
Dude, that thing probably flies though.
it does." It goes 40 miles an hour, but the boat can't handle it. So I can't go that fast. So
Yeah, you start getting squirrely.
but it'll break the like I have to do that in the flat, but it'll get up. It's an aluminum boat. But at least I have reliability now. This summer I get to fish skinny because I have a motor that can take me out of sketchy spots. Before, I didn't even know if it would turn on or stall. Like literally, I had to be safe, just stay away from the sketchy stuff.
I had been at the break wall when I had my old motor, and it's we're getting close to the wall, and it won't kick up.
Yeah,
It's not a fun feeling.
Yeah, I don't like. But my recent trip was based on like that whole Grom of the Month vibe, and so Nick got to go out. He's obviously not a Grom. He knows what he's doing. So we went and we did a hot lap outside of Santa Monica Bay there. And we ran through and we went from 0 to 80 feet and we caught probably close to 200 fish. We stopped counting at about 50. My clickers rusted. So we just were like, whatever. Cash. I'm going to be real. Like a whole lot of those were just cash. The guy just freaking got it. It's just out of nowhere. I'd roll my eyes at Nick. He's really? Yeah, that was a fun day. We went out, we started off with calicos. Cash got some calicos off a break wall. And then we hit some shallow ARs and we started pulling bass and calicos off the ARs. I don't know, maybe there was a little weird rockfish mixed in somewhere. I can't remember. And then I got a spot that's a little deeper. So that's what I do. I like just to take the temperature on everything. Man, start at 0 and go to 100 feet and see where they are and then match what's happening. And sometimes you pull together a formula. A lot of the times I do. And I'm like, this over there. If you just take that and then now you look at your map and you go, that's everywhere. Let's go. And you just start reading every house. Ding dong. Anybody there? Nope. Next one. I always tell people like when I fish, I don't stay there ringing the doorbell, dude. If they don't answer, dude, I'm out.
So at the LA Fishing Alliance tournament, after you guys came, you guys were hanging out for a while. That's actually the first time I met you in person. We've talked before, but we've never met in person. Yeah. And I know Daniel and Cash were just geeking out, man. man, talking about spots, and I'm just listening to him, and Cash is just going on and on, man. I mapped my stuff out, and just like how you said right now,
he's a trip, dude. He really is. He's quite a juggernaut. He's been exposed to a lot of greatness. I'm not talking about fishing. Like, so a lot of these people we get to hang out with are just great souls. I'm lucky enough to be tangled up in a lot of things that are happening and be close to these little events, the PCS, the Fred Halls. You have really important resources and things around us. If anybody does not know what CCA is, it's the California Coastal Association. If you want to talk about being punk rock, talk about being hardcore, try to be underground, that's what these guys provide for us. You can't do what you do without someone that can talk to the people at the top and stop them washing us. It's for reals. Everybody's trying to stop. Sounds stupid, but in some way, there's a regulation with skewed science saying there's reasoning why we shouldn't have lead, shouldn't have bait, shouldn't fish certain areas. And unless people out there that you trust and put my money, I do the CCA tournaments right now. Anybody doesn't know, California Coastal, they do the coastal socials, which are great. Those are a fundraising resource for the CCA. If we've all heard of like the 30 by 30, that's where the emissions thing, all that. I don't know how to fight that. I'm not going to get up there and talk to people in lobby, but I know everyone knows know all the right people. And if I go do their stuff and join the CCA, I'm helping. So I encourage everybody, especially, I know you guys got a young fan base. That's real important, dude. It's $30. A lot of the time you go to these events, you get a free membership. But there's an online tournament going right now that they do called the Spring Fling. I think there's another one. It's throughout the year, and it's just like your longest bit. And you win some really great prizes. So it's a fun way to give back and get into that.
So I have a question about that, Tom. So if you sign up, do you get a card, or what do you get? Like, if you're part of it.
I'll try to message you the information, but I think I can't look on my phone because it's right here, but there's an app on your phone. It's Chaos, I think. And you just go on Fishing Chaos and it's tournaments in your area, and the CCA one will be in there. And it's all a photo thing.
No, but how do you, Luke, did you ever check your email? Did you ever get something?
There's an identifier.
I don't check my emails.
So there's identifiers that they write on your. So I'll get with you guys because you guys are catching some great fish, and you guys use 3 fish for the whole season. And then at the end, you'd win a rod reel combo or whatever, but you're donating. I did the whole year. It was like $100. I think it's $30.
Yeah, we all joined.
Yeah, we signed up at the PCS.
Yeah. It didn't really.
Wait, on the bar hall, huh? The bar hall.
Yeah. Bar? Yeah.
But I don't know. Do you get a membership card, or how do you?
No, I don't think so. I'm not real sure. I don't even know if I'm a member right now for real. I hit them up. I was like, dude, I'm getting the emails. Am I in? They're like, yeah, if you're getting the emails, you're in. So newsletter. They're doing a thing coming up in San Diego called Apps and Taps. It's like you go out and pay like $70, all you food and beer. It's stuff like that. Fun, real light. It's not all they preach to you and stuff, but it's just go out and hang out and they do the sponsor stuff. You just kind of read the label, as the RZA would say. Read the label, because you with these people that are supporting the. But yeah, fishing pretty much changed my life. Taking people out fishing has been the best thing. That trip with Nick was great. When we came back in the harbor, he stuck like a 3-pound spotty on his jig that he made. Does it get better than that? Sticking a fish on the jig you made? You guys.
Yes.
The only thing better than you sticking a fish on something you make is seeing somebody else stick a fish on something you make. That's where it's really cool. The biggest hurdle for me was, am I catching fish on my baits because I'm just throwing them all the time? Or do they work? Can other people catch fish on them? Is this just a fluke kind of thing? Is it just because I'm catching that one dumb bass that I've thrown this by 100 times? But so when I see other people be like, oh, dude, I caught my PB on blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, and this is all about.
Right. Yeah, I can't say that, but it's got to be something similar to taking someone.
I'll tell you this. I've had some people catch some good fish on lures I painted. Nothing compared to seeing someone get a PB on your boat. I think that's next level when you see that person And it doesn't need to be a 10-pound fish. Our buddy Simon was out with us and he caught a 3-pound sand bass, and that was his PB. And just
it's
as
not
stoked was the
right. Got it. It's not the fish that's so great. It's his reaction, that smile on his face like it hurts. He will never forget that. You're burned in his brain as this dude that provided that for him, and that's awesome. And you know what? He's going to provide it for someone else, and that's why I try to do what I'm doing when I get people.
Yeah, we got Lunchbox in the comments right now. He just got his PB with me last weekend.
I saw that. I love Jeremy's awesome, dude. He is a grinder. He fishes everywhere,
Hard.
everything, and he's hard. I love seeing his stuff. I threw something up. I put something out there that I was going to give away a trip to ride on the Basher with me, and a couple people chimed in. I'm not going to lie. I've already been, like I said, I always look at people, and I came from a place where I couldn't afford a boat or afford the opportunity to get out. That's what I always try to do. I put a little something out there. If you guys don't mind, I'd like to just go ahead and call out the person that I want to ask if you're cool.
Be our guest, man.
So there's a kid that I've been seeing prior to what I say. I mean, he's not old as me, but doing a lot of fishing, catching a lot of fish, baits, and grinding off the dock and just taking videos and making clips and throwing music to it. And I know how much work that is because I do it too. And I did the same like that when I was running on the dock. But his name's Jordan, and his Instagram is Mangled and Tangled. And homie, you're coming out. We're going to do up.
Nice.
So I don't know what day right off the top, but as soon as the cheeks go red on the calico and stuff's wide open, we'll get in contact.
Congratulations, man.
Yeah, you
It's
just
going to be fun.
He's been posting a lot of stuff with the bait.
That's crazy because I just changed my name to Mangled and Tangled.
Yeah. Did you tag me on the thing from me?
Oh, I know.
No, but that's cool. Like you said, the last 3 weeks, that's what I've done. I rented a sleigh day with my buddy 3 weeks ago and took out a bunch of people, my buddy from work and his girlfriend's kids and all of them. A lot of them were new, had never fished at all. Mariah and Matt, they both just played with hook all day. Matt caught a 25-inch halibut in the surf.
Nice.
We're fishing the back of the surf in Point Loma, or no, 40 Pines. He got halibut. Everybody else were catching calicos. Jamie, one of the guys on the boat, he got a 4-pound red. It was a slow pick, but like we got quality fish. So to me, it was a slow pick, but to everybody else, it was a great trip. And to see them all just ecstatic was great. There's a little drama with the sleigh day thing. And like we had to like work stuff out. I'm like, do you know who you're talking to? I'm like, hey, dude, my wheel falls off, dude. We got it. And then helped him out. I brought the boat down, but cool. And then the next weekend I took Nick out. We did that run and he got that glob of a spotty, and we just had a great day. More than anything, in memories. I think Nick might tell you the most fun we had was when we got back inside the harbor and we were all like simple-minded, cracking jokes. And I'm like, we're making all this stupid terminology up. We need to get back to the DPDs. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm all the DPDs, man, the double pillar docks. And all different stupid stuff like that.
I think your brother just jumped on.
Oh, my brother,
Yeah.
John?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't even know he kept on Instagram.
He said he said he just got him on his PV. I see. Was that the link card?
Yes. So my brother, his birthday, happy birthday, Dale Truth. His birthday is tomorrow. So
Happy early birthday.
the plan was to take him out fishing this weekend for his birthday, but he called me on I don't even know what day, bro. I worked so hard last week. It was insane. I worked my regular job, which is running construction work. And then Friday night, did a full 8 hours each night, hands-on construction work. Then I did 12 hours of work just on Saturday. And then I take my bro fishing on Sunday. But I got to do what I got to do to get my stuff done to fish, right? So I just hammered it. And when he called me when I was doing the side job, I was all distracted. I'm walking around on stilts, doing freaking overhead texture, drywall. And I could hear it in his voice, but I didn't recognize it until I hung up. He wanted to fish. He called me and he's, hey, I don't got any plans Sunday. I was like, cool, bro. I got a bunch of shit in my hands. Got to call you right back. I didn't want to sound like a jerk, but I thought about it. I'm like, dude, he wants to. I texted him. I'm like, hey, bro, we're fishing. I don't know what day we'll fish next weekend. And he's, oh, no, I said, let's go get your PB. That's what I said. I said, we're getting your PB.
Nice.
And he's, what, aren't you going fishing up north? Because I was planning on going fishing. But I go, no, not when I heard that in your voice, dude. We're going. So we go out on the line, dude. People say this, it might have been his second drop. It was the first drop I saw him do. We roll out to the fifth spot, he drops, pulls up a 5-pound sandy with a calico on a double rig. I'm like, oh, dude, he's like, we were just like, day was made. We are stoked. He had a 5-pound sandy. That was his biggest. And I think it was probably a 2 or 3 pound calico with it. So it was a great catch. And then we picked new spot, catching all right fish, but just not a lot. We did all right. And then we got into an okay calico bite, and it was really fun. And while we're bass fishing, because that's the thing, we're just throwing the hookup bait double. He's throwing the 1 ounce double rig with a sardine. The sardine was just getting bit that. And he got a couple decent bass, so he knew how hard they pull. And my sister's on too. What's up, Lisa? So she's saying, hey, she always gives him crap about his Instagram skills. But anyways, we take him out, and dude, he cooked that rig I showed you, like the 8-foot rig. We fish those heavy rigs with the 6,000 Saragossa. I have the drag pretty much buttoned for bass, but just enough for a yellowtail to take it. So it's just, if it's over 10 pounds, it can run.
Yeah.
So I got like a big one. It's busting loose. And dude, this thing's, in the way it was gone, I knew it will. We thought yellowtail for the first second, because I told him the place we were targeting yellowtail. Dude, yellowtail might happen. You never know. And then we've seen him fight all of these lingcod, big lingcod, real big lingcod. Right. I go get the net. As it comes up, gosh, it's all, oh my, I don't use this big, scoop it up, 14-pound lingcod. I told my brother, you gotta go eat this one, bro. I caught a cat boat, but that's what hookup baits do, bro. You fish for calico and you catch everything. So after that, when we were coming in, it was funny. I posted a picture of my story today of us like out on the boat. You can see Mexico in the background with the 3 of us. At the daily double rolled up. We were coming back, and there was a little rock halfway. We stopped, and our buddies were on the daily double. Frank, Dale. Oh, no, not Dale. Frank and Ronnie. What's up, guys? They were doing what I just told you, doing a charter trip with kids and putting them all on fish. We saw them on the daily double, took our pictures. So that was funny. And then we went back in the harbor and just caught a couple spotties, trifected it. And my brother, the biggest thing was the memories that we made. When he left, he texted me and I'm still smiling, dude. Thank you so much. And then the next morning, he's like, I'm still smiling, dude. Thank you so much, man. And I just saw how much it meant to him. And I could see how that's infectious. It just goes from one person to the next. And like, I was hitting Charlie up when I was door pounding, and I was like, hey, dude, we got to get you out. We got to get you out. Because I was seeing how fishy he is and how much he slays. And we just never lined up. When I would hit him up, he was working, or I was working. And then
he was sleeping.
Yeah.
Sleeping.
You know those courtesy calls.
That's
Charlie a couple of courtesy calls every once in a while.
Not sleeping. I just
wasn't courtesy call.
You know what?
Wouldn't have looked.
No, you know what? It's always that, man. I get to fish once a week.
He used to turn down trips because it's too early for me.
You got
Tom. You were good.
That trip.
You got
That day.
life on some shit like that, man.
I know. It's just, it wouldn't happen, man. And you know what? And Luke invited me. Good thing he invited me again. He took Daniel out that day, and they slayed, man. I think Daniel got his PV, and it was cool. I wasn't
Everyone
even
got
tripping,
their BB except Charlie.
except me.
Hey, Luke, I want to take a minute and pay you a compliment, brother, because I've been watching all your videos and stuff. And some of the stuff I love is the stuff you got like little kids with you. And you can just see when kids are around, you can really tell how someone is. And you're super patient. You're very good captain, very attentive to everyone, dude, and making sure they're having fun. And I was just like, this cat's solid when I was watching.
My thing is, when I take the kids out, I'm not fishing. I have a rod tied on for if there is a chance to throw. But for the most part, it's like, all right, I'm facilitating.
I think he does that for everybody too.
He's got a big heart.
He does, man. No joke.
The last I was on with Charlie, I was like, Charlie, there's a lot of current. I'm really doing this trolling motor. You're running around the boat. I'm fishing. I'm running the trolling motor. Nothing else.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
That's awesome. That's what it is. Two is the mechanics of fishing with people. I, fortunately enough, have my biological son who is like an extension of my own body. I was telling Nick some of the stuff that we do is not even communicated. We've learned a couple styles of fishing on how to just be very effective and go through areas. I don't even have to tell him, dude. I know where he's casting. We have a deal. I'll break it out. I'll tell you. So when you're fishing docks, when you're rolling through and everybody's on the front, instead of everybody waiting for that cast, oh, I want this one. Who's going to cross who's? If he's standing on my left side and I'm standing on the right, he gets the left side of the pillar. I get the right side every fish. And we start working through. And if I see he missed it, I'm like, you missed it, bro. And then I'll throw on it. Or if I miss it, are you going to throw? He'll hit it. And we literally go through and hit everything. There's nothing like catching fish and tricking people like with a lure.
Yeah.
You're hunting.
Nothing like
it. Yeah. It's great.
like it. And I think your sister said it's her turn.
She's up. I know. I told her. Because I going on in the comments too, because I told her turn. I already brought my brother out. But yeah, she's up. But not right now. Jordan's up. We'll get him in. But
so I want to rewind a little on something you glossed over. You said the drags pinned just enough to stop something, but if something big goes, it has room to run. And that was I think that was put really well, because I've always been drags pinned, and Charlie and Daniel were with me. I had something. I think it was my PB calico. I think it was a 10-pound calico, because I've got 8 and 9, and this pulled harder. And I think just a little bit of drag would have saved the fish, but drag was.
I was right next to Luke, and I just see, like, from the corner of my eye, you could see it, you could hear it too, because the line just tensions up. And I just see it, and his rod just loads up, and he's like, net, and he's like reeling it in, and all of a sudden it's gone.
All heard that snap with the hook just,
yeah.
and right there, that line from slack to just salute tight. And I love it. You can play like a guitar kind of thing.
And this is one thing about Luke. Luke will reel maybe 2 or 3 times on a fish before he calls for net. This one was like, net, like, net.
Yeah,
it was insane.
But that was my lesson that trip, was learning that drag needs to be backed up just enough where something bigger can pull instead of break.
Yeah. I've seen a couple breaks with that and things like that. So I didn't learn the easy way. I learned it the hard way for sure. But oddly enough, yellowtail, black sea bass are fairly common in these waters. Common to get something that you can't turn. And you don't want to go in, dude. And I want my rod back. You ain't taking my rod. So it's got to be able to bust a little. Oh, really hard, even with that. Those Saragosas have a lot of drag, dude. It's insane. It's like a
Saragosa is my light tuna.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a full popper rod. I got a 50-pound tuna on it. I didn't weigh it, but my buddy got 150, and we were both in the same stuff. And it popped off at the end, but it'll handle it. You got to be a madman because you can't put it on the rail. But
who wants to put it on the rail anyway? The rail's too low on my boat.
I know. These guys that are getting the big play the rail, use the rail to catch fish. That put it in the rod holder. That's a real thing. Marciano, I got the privilege to talk to him, and he said he landed a ear from the West Coast guys and they took that fighting style of throwing the rod in the rod holder and turning the handle and let the boat fight it.
Yeah.
So there's a certain point
which we could still do with the spinner.
Yes. Oh yeah, for sure. And I have bait casters and things. I do have one. I'll throw it out. I got it right. You want to see it? Oh, no, I don't. It's like I bought it with my freaking newspaper money when I was a kid, dude. It's one of those Corrado Bantams, the 200, dude, like greenish purple, actually. So I got that little thing. I took that out the other night on the wall. And, oh my! I had this little rod that I was flipping right into the off the rocks. And dude, this rod is like such a soggy little rod, and I was just totally. It's super fun. I'm like, anything big, it's over. But that's fun.
We got the comment section talking about Charlie's 16-pound spot calico.
Hey, I see.
You know what? That's my favorite thing. I'm not going to name any names, but when you get the comments that are like, hey guys, don't you know that when a fish gets that big that the pattern goes away and they get a little knob on the head? And It's come on. We didn't think that thing was 17 pounds. We knew the scale wasn't set to 0.
But it was funny because
Thank you for
Now, Charlie's having trouble with the scale and all that stuff. He goes, "Hey, Jam, come help," because I've done a couple of his already. He has multiple 3-pounders. I'm like, "Yeah, come on, I got this." It was at 0. I don't know how it jumped to 17. But when I said that, I was.
I know.
And we had Nick from lateral. You see his neck just go break real quick. He's, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "Look at the scale." And the best part about it is it's feathering too, just like
Yes.
it was normal.
Dude, like legit trying to weigh it, and it's
So
like
it's just like the whole thing was just almost so funny. And I even got comments. And I was like, "What are you talking about? It's one of those heavy walleye calico."
Yeah.
we still some.
It's just great how many, almost everybody knew it was a joke.
Yeah.
Almost everybody. There's this couple
Except
people
one
that were like,
person.
"Hey guys,
I photoshopped a spotty one time when we were in Mission Bay because it was so funny. It was so funny. I photoshopped it all big and put it on my story, and people started writing all this stuff. I'm like, guys, that is so fake. It is so fake. It's like I had to take it down because I'm like, dude, what people think I'm trying to
yeah,
get some like. It was a gross like exaggeration.
So Daniel started putting like little stuff on the YouTube, like he does little releases with jokes, right? So that was just incredible, man. I was like, we're putting it up for sure.
A little
17 pound. Hey, Tom, with my hands, a 3-pounder looks like a 8-pounder.
In the picture of Charlie, I did blow it up a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
And Charlie's a small guy, so this is like covering shoulders down to torso, cross and whole body. And there's some people on YouTube like, "Still, that's huge." And I'm like, "Yes, it is."
Oh man, crazy, dude. I get so stoked just catching whatever, man.
Yeah.
My stoke is real.
Yeah.
Any fish that I catch. So when I caught my 5-pounder on Luke's boat from the week prior, losing 2-3 nice ones,
Yeah.
I was just broken. And then I went out the next day, and I kid you not, even we were recording while we were going out, and he was like, "Today is the day. I feel something's gonna happen." And
I felt,
hey, dude,
sometimes
freaking
you
landed
try to pivot out and you can just feel it in the atmosphere.
I told Cash and my brother Doug, I go, dude, this is big fish hunting day, dude. I'm just telling you, it's a big fish hunting day. Moon, the timing. I'm like, I'm telling you, dude. I don't know how many we're gonna get. There's gonna be a big one. Someone's gonna get a big one. And dude, that freaking lean cod was psycho. And then when it died, I kept it alive. I always keep everything alive till the last minute. It died in the most evil position. I took a picture of it laying on that piece of wood in the back of my backyard before I filleted it. And it's just like, the Slayer rain of blood over it. Cause these things, lean cod are evil, man. It's like a nightmare, you know?
The video I'm editing right now, we're driving out in the intro to the video, and it's me, Charlie, and Nick, and we're going like, "Oh man, the wall's been biting. It's feeling really fishy today. We got a good rising tide. We're going on for all the conditions, and we're like, dude, it's gonna hit. It's gonna hit." And lost count of 4-pounders, easily over 10 4-pounders, multiple 5s, a 6 and an 8. And then 2 days later, I see Nick post a 6, and I'm like, we were catching so many fish, I didn't even see that 6 come on board because I was messing with the 8 when that happened. And it's
so
funny how it's one of those days where you're calling it on the drive out.
That's nothing better, dude.
so
I'm
sick.
going to tell you about my last trip to the Long Beach Harbor. It's the complete inverse of that. It was that one where I drove out. So there's a couple different kinds of fun fishing in that harbor for sure. And I'm like, I'm going to go trifecta because I went out. It was the worst condition ever. It was low, slack. It wasn't coming bad. I'm like, I'm going to just go mess around in the back until it comes alive. Dude, I went. And so I got there at like midnight or 1, and I go around and head down into the juice. I roll up, and my goal is a trifecta. Throw out, get a little calico, like a little tiny one. I was like, oh, there's a calico here? It wasn't in a little zone where I'm used to getting a lot of calico. Boom, get a spotty. I'm like five casts in. I've got the trifecta with the little ones. Those, nothing big. I got a legal calico on a weedless replacement body hooked like a fluke. Just threw it up there, nailed one right there. I was like, oh wow, I didn't think I'd get one of those here. Then it went from I got a trifecta what should I do? I'm like, I'm just going to catch one on every rod that I have with me. I had a trout rod with me. I had spotty rods. So I was every rod. So then I went around. I started throwing every rod I got. Dude, I got a halibut on a freaking 6-pound setup. Like, it was so awesome.
Oh, that's crazy.
But it was a 18-incher or something.
But
But
it's still fun.
But that so saying that night, I got so stoked on all that action in that zone, nothing over 3 pounds, that I was like, oh crap, the sun's gonna come up. I missed the tide. I gotta get out to the wall. And I burned out there. And then I fished down the wall and I got somebody. I didn't get it real big down there, but I had such a fun time. And I almost cut my finger off, dude, for reals, like 2 weeks ago. And I took the stitches out before I did that night. I was like, this is going to be awesome. It'll be punk rock. I'll cut them off myself. I'll do a video, then I'll go slay it. And I was like, I didn't really slay it. But I had so much fun. But dude, when I was fishing, I was then going to go do some day fishing to some of my spots outside that I like to fish. And dude, my fingers started opening up because it was wet. And I'm like, oh God, because I was tripping. So I called, but
You got to super glue it.
dude,
That's the trick.
We keep super glue
Yeah,
and spray
Luke told-
activator on the boat.
Yep, Luke told me that. Yeah.
oh, I agree. Super glue will save most of this one was too close to the end to save. I needed
I'm gonna do a PSA right here. Sting kits. You can go on Amazon and get a sting kit. If you get hit by a sculpin, little cheap, you break it open, there's a swab on the end. It'll save your trip.
What is it, ammonia?
I have no idea what it is. It's for like bee and bug sting. It said reptile and insect stings. And so I just threw it on the boat. And a couple of years ago, I was cleaning fish. My daughter walked by, accidentally kicked the trash bag, ended up getting a sculpin spine in the tip of her foot.
Oh, yeah.
And we used that. Within 15 minutes, she was fine. So Lunchbox, he was taking a sculpin off and it flipped funny and it got him double punctures on his thumb. This is the best part. I'm telling that, okay, we got to go in here, get the box out of the center console. And Garrett's pulling it out. He doesn't realize it's upside down. The lid catches on a wire, dumps the whole box into the center console. So we eventually get it. We get the sting kit. You put the sting kit on his thumb. He's fishing in 20 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. $10 thing that'll save your fishing trip.
Tom, I was asked to ask you about federal ocean inspection.
Oh yeah, we did a lot of those. That's what went on.
Oh, we got me in the house. What?
Oh, what's up? Pete?
What's up?
I'm working report. So when we were fishing in the harbor, we were just having so much fun and cracking jokes. Like I started snapping, like I hit a rope, and I was like, "Hold on, guys!" And I was standing on so I'm a giver, right? I always try to put everybody on the front, but then I'm driving the trolling motor from the back, off the back, so I'm looking around and trying foot pedal so that they can get the juice right up front. And I snagged something and I snagged a rope and I was like, hold on guys, I got to take it over here. And I'm bringing it down. Like, we're coming in for a fiber count on that rope. Okay. And then we were like, oh, if someone hooks something, like we started, dude, I don't hook stuff very often, but I'll probably hook like 3-4 things. And then it was more fun just making jokes about, we got to do a metal inspection on that to make sure that's not corroded. The hook stuck on just random stuff on the docks. So
Check it out. We got 4 minutes left before we got to shut this off because Instagram only lets us record an hour and a half. So plug anything you want to plug, any events that are coming up, anything with your sponsors or hookup pages. Just 4 minutes, go.
Yeah. So the first thing I'm going to say is the most important thing. Everybody join CCA straight up. It's $30. Or do anything you can to help CCA because they're going to help us the most out of anybody. If you want to catch a lot of fish, hookup baits are going to do it. If you have any questions about using them, hit me up. Dude, any of us up. We'd love to hear about it. Just like everybody here that says they make baits or got investment in on doing something, they're going to want everything to do to pass that stoke. In doing that, I don't have any sponsors I want to say. I'll just talk to some people and say, just be a real dude and help people. When you hit the boat, everybody on the water is your brother and you got to take care of them, whether you like it or not, whether you like them or not either. It's life or death. And join Towboat US. Straight up, those dudes have saved my life. They've brought me in on a tournament, dude, and I still weighed in too. It really do. If you're on a vessel, get Towboat US, dude.
Towboat US and insure your boat.
Yes, insure your boat. And
Just insure your boat for the max they will let you insure it.
Yeah. That being said, I mean, as some brands that I really enjoy, like, dude, hookup baits, like I said, Fish Works. I like the moves that AFCO makes and everything they give back. It's just awesome. They're all plugged in with the CCA. Again, I keep saying I like the CCA. If you want somebody with heart, we all know Fish All brand is where that's at. The heart and soul of the LA angler up there, and it's radiated out a lot bigger than that all across the United States. I think it's reaching other places now too. Just share. Don't keep everything to yourself, man. Sharing it is great. It's passing blessings is what it's all about. And I love my son, Cash. I love you, dude. I don't know if you're watching, but man, I love him.
He was awesome.
He's the future of America's in our kids, man. We got to get these kids doing the right things. I'm confident my son has the skill set to be a productive person. He's a good kid, and that's the most important thing, and everything else comes second. So help the next guy. You know how that goes. And you see me on the water, say what's up. You want to get sketchy, we'll go and pay that. And you guys are so awesome. I was telling Luke, I really like your content that you make. Charlie, you're really talented, bro, with your voice and that you're putting together, bro. Keep doing it.
Thank you, man.
I just, a little advice. I'd really like to see you drop them like midweek so that you can tease them through.
All right. Keep that in mind.
Because I really like watching them. And like on the YouTube, I see them over and over when I do that. Maybe you guys blast a few in there throughout the week. It's pretty cool. I dig it. And then people are like, oh, this guy's on, that guy's on. And I'm very honored. And thank you guys a lot for considering me to be on. I'm just an everyday construction working dude that is obsessed with cow.
Dude, we appreciate the feedback, and we're for sure, that sounds like a good idea. Sometimes I'm like at work and I'm texting Luke and I'm like,
sometimes he's hitting me up morning of, wait a minute, what should I say?
Yeah. You always know.
Hold on, let me write something up for you real quick.
Yeah. It's a group effort. You guys are a great team, man. You could see it. Like when you guys are on the water, you guys are all like one little thing together. It's awesome.
It's fun. It's like you were saying with your son, like when we first started fishing, there's tangles everywhere. Now we rarely tangle and it's a nice vibe.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So
now there's even more tangles, but we laugh.
Yeah. Now you can blame someone, razz them for it. It's cool. Make them watch a boat or something.
Dave said he's glad to know you, Tom.
Dude, D-Day is awesome, dude. He's a great guy. The tournament world has turned me on to so many great people. They care about each other, and I love to see people just going for it. I know everybody's been watching Grom. He's got access to Dad's Whaler now, and he used to hit me up and ask me these questions about how to run lures, and I'm sure he hits you guys up about yours. He's asked all these people that ask the right questions and are doing the right things. Beat them, dude, because they're gonna push this further. So, like you said, nothing better than to just see success, whether it's usually someone else's, is the best thing to watch and appreciate.
All right.
That being said, thank you, Tom. Hey, man, we appreciate you for coming on. I was stoked to have you on, man.
Oh, anytime. Gold it all. It's hitting more.
So everyone knows. So everyone knows they're probably going to start planning out the next glizzy. So next
Tom,
hoping you can make it out.
Hoping you guys can make it out to that one, man.
Me up early enough, and I'll make sure I will. I just been pretty sporadic lately. I do a lot of planning for my work, so the last thing I want to do is plan. I'm like, nah. So I've been doing super sporadic stuff lately, but I'm totally in. I missed out on that last time, and I saw all the fun you had, so I want to be there next.
For sure.
All about having fun.
For sure.
All right. Take it easy.
And Charlie.
Thank you, Tom. What's up?
Thank you guys for watching.
It's iconic now. You got to end the show. It's the way.
Are you ready?
On 3.
And we'll fuse it all. Huh? Or are you best? And we'll fuse it all.
Great show now.
Come on.
You're gonna put me on the split.
Take us out, Charlie.
Take us out. And we'll fuse it all. Is his love, our love for fishing. So,
It's gonna be a good one.
It's gonna be a great one.